Good evening. Welcome to Cut Deep Season 5, Episode 5, a new season of exciting guests and lots of information. I'm your host, Cindy Roseanne. I want to welcome the Honorable Melvin Turnbull to the set of Cut Deep tonight. It is the first time, correct?
It is the first time.
We will discuss the issue of the $120,000 legal fees for Speaker Julian Willock and basically the management of our House of Assembly. It is tea time in the studio. The concept of Cut Deep was developed with a focus on encouraging the wider public to think more in depth on issues that plague us, encouraging persons to have a voice and to use that voice to invoke change. Cut Deep is an interactive platform cutting through the noise and political rhetoric. It is raw, uncut, challenging you to think critically. What do the issues mean for us? What part do we play? It is a platform that will move the Virgin Islands toward unified, integrated success. I want to welcome back Blossoms Flores as our support sponsor for Cut Deep. I want to thank those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. Thank you. Cut Deep is a multi-platform show covering social and political issues in the BVI. Its viewership continues to grow, reaching more than 6,000 viewers weekly. It cuts across demographics and captures an international audience. For advertising opportunities, email cutdeep@gmail.com or call 284-440-3234. Supporters may also donate to Cut Deep and issues they support through our mobile at 284-440-3234, checks or cash. Donations will be kept confidential. Send words of encouragement, comments, leads, and social concerns to Cut Deep's email. Thank you to our viewing audience and supporters for watching and sharing our content. That is the best support of all. We'll take a quick break and come right back with the show for tonight.
The win.
What the hell?
I'm freaking out.
Is about these people.
It's always a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the
What's poppin'? What's really good?
Davis has won it for the Lakers.
Welcome back. It's a new season of Cut Deep. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you're just tuning in, you're just in time. It's Season 5, Episode 5. I'm your host, Cindy Roseanne. We are happy to be back for a new, exciting season. I want to welcome back Blossoms Flores as our support sponsor. I want to thank those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. Cut Deep is a multi-platform show covering social and political issues in the BVI. Its viewership continues to grow with up to 6K viewers weekly. It cuts across demographics and captures an international audience. For advertising opportunities, email cutdeep@gmail.com or call 284-440-3234. In the studios of Cut Deep tonight, I have the Honorable Melvin Mitch Turnbull. The discussion is the $120,000 legal fees incurred by the Speaker of the House and the overall management and running of the People's House of Assembly. Before we get into it though, I want to highlight the protest that was organized by residents of the BVI yesterday. A group of persons came together yesterday, November 1, in front of the House of Assembly to express disappointment in the decision to exempt the Speaker of the House, Julian Willock, from paying his legal fees. The protest was a sign of commitment by the people to uphold good governance. I want to congratulate everyone that came out and took a stand for the territory. I want to thank those of you who continue to support us emotionally, financially, and in prayers. Honorable Turnbull, thank you for being here. And everyone should know you, but I can tell you we have such a wide platform regionally and internationally. So for our listening audience, can you just introduce yourself to us, please?
Well, good day, Cindy, Cut Deep family, people of the Virgin Islands and around the world. Congratulations on that, because when you started, it was just an idea to get information out and the issues. So I want to congratulate you on your 5th season.
Thank you.
I am Melvin Mitch Turnbull, the representative for the 2nd Electoral District. and I have now serving in my second term as a member of the opposition, and I specifically, passionate about young people, passionate about service to the community, the God I serve, and the people that I'm responsible for, and more so my family whom I love and adore and cherish. So I'm here as a servant leader in this time in this territory of the Virgin Islands, where I tried my best to be accountable and hold the government to account.
Thank you. I want to get right into it.
Not a problem.
Because we have only an hour, and there's a lot that I want to ask and get through on this particular issue, and so we can get some clarity for the people. Before we go on, can you tell us, or the first question is, can you tell us the role of the speaker?
Well, the speaker's role he is in fact one of the leaders of the legislative branch. He is the Speaker of the House of Assembly, which in like many other territories and jurisdictions, he holds the role to preside over the House of Assembly. So when we are in the House of Assembly or under any meetings or committees, whether informal or by the standing orders, he is the one that oversees the proceedings of the House. He is also responsible for ensuring that members' needs while sitting in office to best serve their constituents, the things that we need provided for.
Okay, so that's the administrative side of the House of
Yes.
Assembly as well. Okay. What are the committees in the House of Assembly? There are different committees, right? What are they?
There are committees based on the standing orders of the Virgin Islands. So you have, which we're going to get into right now in no particular order, we're going to start the Standing Finance Committee, which deals with budget. Then there is the Privileges Committee, there's the Public Accounts Committee, there's the Standing Orders Committee, and there's also the Regulations Committee. And there's some other ad hoc committees that have been formed to do different projects within the overall governance of this administration. So those are the committees by the standing orders, as per the standing orders that governs us in the House Assembly.
Okay.
But ad hoc committees can be formed.
Okay. So let's get right into it. A decision like the one that's on the table right now, like the speaker making a decision to file an injunction
Yes.
in the court, would a committee decide on that? Would the speaker make that decision himself, or would it be a committee decision, or where would a decision like that come from?
Well, Cindy, you ask a question of what should happen.
Right.
Good.
We want to know what should happen. What is the process per the rules of the House of Assembly, not what we make up as we go along to suit ourselves.
If I was to put it this way, I believe the speaker is already in a bad position. Because I'm asking this question, Cindy. If there's an opposition to the lawyers that came from the COI, if there's an injunction to be filed surrounding the COI, shouldn't the person that brings that injunction or that case is the Premier of the Virgin Islands on behalf of the people of the Virgin Islands? The Speaker's responsibility is for the House. Now, he does have
That's what I'm.
he does have the right, as any other member would have the right to file the injunction and make representation. But when you look at the current sitting of the government, why is it that our speaker is doing something relating to our finance and our governance and our operations that can be handled by the leader of the country? And that's what's confusing for me. But what should have happened is, even at the highest level, whether it's cabinet and then the government elected members, not the members of the opposition, they have a government caucus. And then to have all 15 of us in the room, they're informal meetings. Cindy, I want to say categorically, on October 3rd, an email came up from the speaker seeking support for some legal opinions and procedures surrounding the COI, this including the injunction and hiring additional lawyers. And he was seeking support. He asked for a response by a certain time. I responded and was the first person to respond. And I voted that I'm not in favor of it because it is filed on behalf of the House of Assembly.
Right.
But how can it be filed on behalf of the House of Assembly? I am a sitting member, and I have never had those conversations. The leader of the opposition, Honorable Marlon Penn, he said it as well. Both him and I, we voiced in our emails our displeasure and that we were not in support of it. We had a meeting, an emergency meeting, a week later, and we were the only two again to vote against these I would call them concerns, very ticklish concerns that's on the minds of the people of the Virgin Islands. So those are the things it should have been discussed. But we seem to want to be lumped into the same or one pot when there's fire on.
Right.
But we, and I said we meaning the government. They make decisions and then you have to go, and then the public outcry, or you realize the House of Assembly members are not all in support, and then you do over. So somebody said it's almost like there's a do-over, and a do-over government.
So on this email, did they speak about the injunction and what type of injunction it would be?
That discussion was never had with us. We never had the discussion in the House of Assembly. I think
So in the email, it listed an injunction, but it didn't say an injunction to what?
whether it was regarding the retraction of the injunction. We never received the injunction email, and I'm talking about two different things: the COI lawyers and then this particular order that has been ordered for the Honorable Willock. So if I go to the COI lawyers on that, then that we never had those discussions with.
Okay.
Particular to this one that is filed with the Honorable Willock, there was no discussion with any of us in the House of Assembly. Even when you ask some of the government members in the backbench, you'll hear them say that they were not made aware. So where was this decision made? And I would challenge Cindy.
And that is the decision to file the injunction.
To file
Nobody was aware of it.
No, not, well, I wasn't aware of it. And I can't speak for anybody else, but I think I heard Honorable Penn say he has not been aware of it, and 2 or 3 members of the government backbench.
So there's a query, and I'm going a little bit away from my questions that I have here. You said and this is in your opinion.
Yes.
Why didn't the Premier himself bring it?
Or one of the ministers of cabinet.
Right. So is that something, because we have the judiciary, the judicial branch, and they function for government. So any issues that government has, they're the ones to render legal advice. I see, I can't recall if it was done under other governments, but I see this government in particular loves outside legal service and advice outside of the AG. I mean, it says to me that they don't trust what we have there, but that's another conversation for another day. Wouldn't the Premier liaise or discuss with the AG and the AG take an injunction forward if one had to go forward from the government? Is that a normal process? Because the Premier wouldn't just get up and say, I'm going to take somebody to court.
No, he seeks the legal advice.
Correct.
You are indeed correct. The legal advisory to the House of Assembly and even to the government and his cabinet, the Premier and his cabinet, is the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands.
And she's the head of the judiciary. Well, that office is the head of the judiciary,
correct.
Whoever is sitting in it.
But when you look at it, Cindy, you have to pay attention to something. And it's something that I'm leaning more on the sayings of my seniors now. What's that wrong can right?
Facts.
Because if you are filing an injunction and your very advice, your legal advice to the House of Assembly, to the government of the Virgin Islands, is in opposition to you, then what exactly are you doing? And what do you hope to come out of it? Because even we saw before the CI, our speaker went against the Attorney General and challenged her, and there was this back and forth.
Yes,
so what
was open to the public.
What are we really doing? And the fact that it's open to the public, don't you think we're going to have an opinion about it?
Correct.
And looking at the fees again, I don't know where this 120 comes from, but it's $120,000. That number sounds familiar, but I'm saying it to say this is something that the court ordered. Can we now go and make a decision or have a vote or even be ignorant to the people of the Virgin Islands who showed out yesterday, by the way? And I want to, democracy is important in this territory, but the power that lies in the people is even more important. And I saw that yesterday. And even those who weren't there, but some of the comments that I saw, it is important. Can you ignore the voice of the people, which governs the land, and try to spin it and say, well, you know, you have a job to do in the House of Assembly and you'll let the majority rule? Can you do that? And the people of the Virgin Islands are the one who put you to
Well,
sit
they
there.
continue to do that. They continue to do that, Honorable Mitch. And it's disheartening. And I think this is where the elected administration and the people are butting heads, because we elected you to manage our affairs. We didn't elect you to ignore us. It's like you have a company and you got a general manager and you can't tell the general manager anything.
But
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's your company.
yeah,
I would
tell
like
them-
you to take my mandate forward in my company, but you're telling me how to run my business.
You're telling, you could talk to him. You fire him. That's how you get rid of him.
Can
You
we?
did- Yeah, you can.
We
You
need to
can-
figure it out because
I'm not, and Cindy, you know, I am one who is always looked at for some reason as a troublemaker, whatever they try to
Radical
call
like
me. Well, you know, we get along pretty good. The important thing is, however, I am not going to sing Kumbaya, and I said this to the Premier and his government. I don't sing well. I'm not going to sing Kumbaya. I'm not going to drink any
that
of
voice
the Kool-Aid.
can't sing well.
Well,
I don't believe
but
it.
not to this tune.
Okay.
Because when you take it that the court has ordered, Cindy, for the Honorable Speaker, Julian Willock, to pay this, then you're going to say you're going to consider it because you believe that we should make the decision in the House of Assembly. When you have members, 2 members specifically, who has said, you know, no, this is not right. We don't even know if it's legal. Then you have the public now on the outcry, on top of the issues with the schools, on top of the COVID issues with the fisheries and fishing and farmers, on top of all the other frustrations and all the other difficulties and challenges that have been exposed by this commissioner inquiry. And I said it in the House of Assembly last week. I was shamed, as the old people have said. I was shamed because we have to understand this is not just a local thing, that we are not playing on a local field, we're playing on an international field, and we have our country being looked at in the eyes of people because of our actions and misactions, and the ignoring of the people's voice to the things that they put you there to do. And you're choosing not to do, but every time you get confronted, you find a story or a way to try to wiggle yourself out.
Correct. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and we are going to go a little deeper into this decision, how it was made, and then how they intend to exempt, because we know they'll go ahead with it and what will come after. We'll be right back.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must stop cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back. It's a new season of Cut Deep. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's season 5, episode 5. I'm your host, Cindy Roseanne. We are happy to be back with a new exciting season. I want to welcome back Blossoms Florist as our support sponsor for Cut Deep. I want to thank those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. Cut Deep is a multi-platform show covering social and political issues in the BVI. Its viewership continues to grow with up to 6,000 viewers weekly. It cuts across demographics and captures an international audience. For advertising opportunities, email cutdeep@gmail.com or call 284-440-3234. In the studios of Cut Deep tonight, I have the Honorable Melvin Mitch Turnbull. We're discussing the legal fees incurred by the Speaker of the House and the overall management of the People's House of Assembly. So we were speaking about how the Speaker would have come to have made that decision. I'm going to say something to you. As I see this evolve and unfold, I'm smiling because there are so many things. Well, the Premier said yesterday when we were at the House of Assembly, he moved number 9 on the order paper
yes.
to number 12 and so forth.
Yeah.
I know that you and the Honorable Penn were trying to, because you guys probably felt he was trying to frustrate us. We felt the same. Somebody even uttered the words, they said, if that was Lavity style, he would have dealt with his people, send them on their way, and then move on with the order of the day. But this sitting government doesn't have that kind of respect for the people. I think they felt like we were the engine or the means of them getting in the House, and that was the cutoff for us. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. I was perusing the news sites today, and I shared this article on my Facebook page, and I took out just a bit of it to highlight for people where the Premier, he was saying that nobody is going to intimidate him or sidetrack him from completing his agenda. Not the people. He didn't say the people. His agenda. So whatever his agenda is, because it's clearly night and day between him and the people, whatever his agenda is, that's the agenda he's pushing forward. I had a conversation with the Premier yesterday in terms of this, and you know, he said he's here to do the people's business. I said, well, the people, if you're listening, there's an overwhelming no on this motion for Julian. He then says, well, I'm here to do the people's business within principle. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well,
so there are a lot of things that are coming forward now as they try to stymie or squirm their way into passing this motion.
well, Cindy, I'll begin and try to pick up on some of what you said because it's loaded. This is cut deep. I feel it. The important part is personalities cannot ever overshadow principle. Then you're in a bad place. And the character of persons and integrity matters. The character of person that you reference is still listed as the best chief minister we've ever had, and he's been passed over 25 plus years.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
If our job is to serve the people, and the people of the Virgin Islands are our boss, and you hear the people saying that they don't want this, I understand a petition was signed. You can't tell me you're going into the House of Assembly where the people put you to go through the procedures that are legal, and that is the way that stuff is done. But you are the Premier, you are the leader of government business. You have done it since you have been sitting as Premier before, and for other myriad of reasons. You have taken things off the order paper. So that means he is not listening to the voice of the people.
No, he's not.
He is moving according to, as you said, he quoted, his agenda. And when you get to your agenda, when you could talk about yourself in the second and third person, you know that's problematic. But I'm not here to be disrespectful to the premier or his government, but I don't agree with paying the fees for the Honorable Willock for the government to pay the fees. I don't agree. My position will be just that. If they get bold enough, which it seems like they will do, and ignore the voice of the people, we will debate it, and I will stay where I have to stay. Because Cindy, this country, I believe somebody said it, enough is enough. We have been battling and trying to get communication. And when you find out something on the street or it comes out on 284 Media or one of these other sites, news sites, that's when we, as leaders of the government, hear certain decisions that were made. But then when the trouble comes, they like to say the House of Assembly members. And I spoke up in a government that I was in. And I said it, and this is not to be cocky, but I told one of the ministers, I said, you are bragging about sitting and you being elected as a minister, and we are over here in the opposite. And I said to him, if I didn't stand up, you won't be able to sit down. I said, I want you to understand that's the voice of the people, and that's how it works. So I am of the position. I stand with the people of the Virgin Islands who came out, and those who are even silent, because I understand there are some other measures being put in place and ideas being put to them regarding how they govern themselves within the civil service. So whatever it is, the voice of the people will continue to reign, and I want persons to know, even if it's against me, speak up and let your voice be heard, because the power lies with you.
So here's a magic question.
Magic question.
The government is saying that, or the premier, he's the one that got up and spoke yesterday. And I will say that when he speaks for his entire team. That's what I would say, because if they don't say anything, then he's speaking for them in the entirety. He's the lead, correct.
He's the leader of the government.
They are saying, and he said that to me that yesterday, that there's information that has to come out. And if I would allow him to present this information, I said I will listen with an open mind to what he has to present in terms of waiving this fee. Do you have any idea what this information, this secret information could be that we have not heard or seen yet, that would exonerate our golden boy Julian and love him in the end?
I have no inclination, no idea, or no clue. I know what happened, though, and I know what is happening and what has been happening. It's just smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
It is giving you an opportunity to, just like moving the order paper from 9 to 12, you know the procurement bill, which is an important bill, but you know it's a long bill and it's going to take some time, so that's why we adjourned after 7. Protesters were there from after 9 in the a.m. So it is strategies that is being used. But what I'm challenged by... It's such an
open book strategy, though.
But because I'm challenged by the fact that I know the public is aware, and they are fed up. They had enough of the games and the endless chatter that has nothing to do with the subject at the hand. So
correct.
I believe, I don't know what
like
the
Windrush?
information is.
Windrush is not a laughing matter, let me just say, but I mean the levels they go to distract the mind is crazy.
You caught me off guard with that one. That's why I chuckled.
He caught everybody off guard. We were just sitting watching COI, and then we were talking about Windrush.
When somebody speaks as much, and they kind of forget what they say at times. So it's just up for us to fact check the things that have been said, the things that are being said now, because I understand and I heard that the governor, as the premier said, when he was wrapping up the same procurement bill about the governor invoking Section 103 of the Constitution to seek legal representation for himself, and the government must pay for it. I don't know if he feels that might be his justification to want to pay for the fees of the Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, so make it clear to them what you're saying, that this is one of the options the Premier is looking at now.
Well, I don't know.
He said it. He said it in the House of Assembly yesterday.
I don't know if it's options or as much as something that he's doing.
Well, he said he has a presentation to make. He said that when he was switching around the items, and he said that if the governor and everybody else can get their legal bills paid, why would the speaker have to pay his personal bill?
Because
Pay the bill out of his
because
pocket.
it was ordered by the court.
But
I
it's
mean,
more than that.
But I know, but it was ordered by the court. It was not sanctioned by the House of Assembly.
Or the Attorney General.
So it had to be sanctioned by the Premier and the leader of government business.
So this is
Because
the
he's the Minister of
important.
Finance.
This is the important question on the table. You've come to it.
Cindy,
Guide us through it.
I want the public to understand, and I do not ever pretend to know all the answers or have all the information. But it begs the question, look at everything and every ministry surrounding money, department surrounding money. It has all been moved since this administration has been elected. They have all been moved under the Premier and Minister of Finance. I've asked in the House of Assembly just for persons to be understand what has happened since this government has been elected. You have a Premier that takes the ministries responsible for money. Just follow the money and just follow the issues that's what I'm talking about. You go down the road and ministers and ministries are supposed to be responsible for administrating certain things. You start with the 1500 belongership status. That was dealt with in the Premier's office. You deal with the fishing and farmers coming out of Irma and the COVID-19. Those stimulus that was supposed to be $2 million then end up over $5 plus $6 million. That was handled under the Premier's ministry. You look at the grants for small business under the Premier's ministry. So then you realize that when he speaks, as you said earlier, he's speaking for everyone unless you have a dissenting voice who still has some sort of compassion and understanding for what is going on in this territory and the hurt that the people in this territory are feeling, then we cannot move forward. We cannot move forward with this type of leadership. And that's what it's about for me, Cindy. You can't tell me that there is no government member out of the 9 of them that doesn't think, doesn't believe there is something wrong with this decision and some of the other decisions that the government has made. And if you have or can comfortably go through your rest of your life and make this decision and think it's not a problem, then something is wrong with your moral compass and something has gone wrong with the persons that we have elected.
What do you think that is? Because I certainly think that something is very wrong. And, you know, again, people reach out to me and, you know, they throw names at me like, you know, we can work with this one. Or because the truth is there are people out here working towards a new government, people that can actually bring some change to us, turn around where we're going, because we need to bank that corner. We don't need to go over the cliff. We need to bank the corner. And there are names that come on the table to me, and I'm a strong no. Unless that person stands up for the territory,
Yes.
walk across the floor even if they have to, I am not seeing them. Everything goes in that one bucket right now for me, all 9, unless one stands up.
But
because I don't understand for the life of me how none of them see a problem. No problem. Everything that happens is A-okay with them. Everything. And oh, you don't understand, you're on the outside.
I'm on the inside, but still on the outside, and that's what's troubling. We have a situation where, because of the seniority of the Premier, I believe the members of the government should have been able to understand and appreciate what it means to be a member of the House of Assembly, to understand that they have a voice. Even though you got elected as a government and the Premier of the Virgin Islands, Andrew Ford, is the leader of your government, but you have a voice because the people of the Virgin Islands gave you that voice when they put an X to your name.
Correct.
And if you're willing to ignore the voice of the people and the heart and the cries and aches, I mean, we could look at it, Cindy, and I hope we're going there, but if we don't have time to, I'll just say this. When you look at the issues in healthcare, when you look at how many nurses and doctors and the medical staff are leaving this territory, to go elsewhere. When you look at the issues within the schools, when you look at the mismanagement of funds from this COVID-19 and this $40 million grant that we took from Social Security, when you look at the hurts and the concerns of the people of the Virgin Islands and the fact that we have lost 38 persons and people are still trying to find a way back, then you can't tell me that we're in a position making these bonehead decisions and irresponsible decisions on behalf of the people, saying it is we are following the laws and we are doing our job. You can't be doing your job when it's not in the best interest of the people.
How is it so easy, and we're going to take a quick break, but how is it so easy as an elected official to fall out of touch with the people? You haven't, I can say you haven't fallen out of touch, even when you were on the other side, sitting in government. How is it so easy that they disconnect from the plight of the people so easily?
Pride goeth before a fall.
That's a big fall coming, eh?
Well, it was prophesied. No, how do you go from it, Cindy? All I can say is you have to keep the priorities. The priority have to be the people. It have to be the needs and the wants of the people. We are no longer building capacity in this territory. We're no longer building our people. We're no longer investing in our people. You look at H.L. Stout and the things that he was done to invest in people. When you talk about leadership, you have to have a vision for the people. We continue to operate off a vision that was cast 25 years ago.
Correct.
You must have passion for people, for the things of the Virgin Islands. So understanding what is happening with the tourism sector and the people who have been out of work, understanding the people that have lost their jobs, understanding the tax that you put on a working populace whose money has already been taxed and you're taxing it again when they send it off. Understand the issues that go on with situations and decisions that you make, considering for 2.5, almost 3 hours, about giving someone who was convicted for rape status in this territory, and then make excuses about humanitarian and make
Correct.
excuse about, well, we weren't considering it. No,
Correct.
it is wrong. And then you uncover and unearth the wounds of so many women,
Yeah.
so many persons in this community
Yeah.
who have been molested and been raped. And we make it seem that the highest officials in this land don't care about the needs of the people and the concerns and the hurts that we would even consider against the dissenting voice of the then sitting deputy governor and the attorney general. And you five decide to have a conversation of 2.5 hours because their family is a good people.
Yeah.
We have to consider what we're doing. Leadership matters.
Leadership matters.
Integrity matters. And I'm hoping that the people that you are talking about to continue to lead this country, one of them is me, because that's my hope, Cindy, to continue to serve the people of this territory to the best of my ability. It's not that I'm always against or opposed. I celebrate when it needs to be celebrated. But if things are going wrong, somebody needs to be that voice. And I'm encouraging the people of this Virgin Islands to continue to stand and continue to keep your elected officials accountable. But I want to say, Cindy, not just because I'm here, you continue to lead the people, because whether I'm in government or not in government for the time being, there needs to be a voice of reason that keeps the interest of the people in the forefront so they don't get lost in the shuffle of the quote-unquote politics.
Well, our leadership and the leadership influences us being led.
Yes.
And, you know, when they put things on the table like, you hate us, that is I never ever thought that when my mom lashed me or corrected me, or I never thought she hated me. Sometimes I felt really, but it never crossed my mind. I just thought she wanted what was in the best interest for me. So you get elected, the people have a voice, they try, sometimes when you say something, you're trying to help your elected officials. Give them guidance from the outside. These guys see it as an offense. And on that note, we're gonna take a quick break and come right back.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Welcome back. It's a new season of Cut Deep. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you're just tuning in, we have the Honorable Mitch Turnbull in studio, his first time on our set, and I'm happy to have him here. It's season 5, episode 5. I am your host, Cindy Roseanne. We are happy to be back for a new exciting season. I want to welcome back Blossoms Florist as our support sponsor for Cut Deep. I want to thank those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. We're going to head right back into the discussion. We have a lot to keep discussing, and we have about 20 minutes. Maybe my team will let me go about 5 minutes over. They love me so much. So here we go. I want to come back to what you were speaking about in terms of, what were you saying just when we went off?
I was saying the ability to have the heart of people,
right,
and not take offense to when somebody says something that might be in the country's best interest or
correct,
even my
correct,
best interest, and
correct,
we take it as offensive, we take it as hateful, or
and I find that is one of the reasons that. Can I tell you that I'm honest when I say, I'm going to say one thing really quickly. In the paper today, I saw where the premier was saying that you can't run the house from social media or, social media. Basically trying to say social media is not an influence. He's in denial. But the thing is that they were elected from noise on social media. So it's unfortunate that he feels this way, in that the noise of the people via social media isn't a vehicle that he needs to listen to. I kind of miss where I was going with this, but there is on the table, I want to go back to the governor's thing before we get too close to closing out.
Okay.
The premier, the conversation he wants to bring tomorrow. Tomorrow there's going to be House of Assembly, and we're going to head down there. Every single time the House of Assembly is open and they haven't called the motion for Mr. Willock, we will be there every single time until they call that motion. He is saying that the governor, you spoke about it, invoking which section of the...
Section 103 of the Constitution.
Okay, for us to pay the governor's legal fee.
Correct.
He's inquiring. The governor is inquiring.
Yes.
The premier wants to use that as a loophole to say, if we can pay for the governor, we can pay for Julian. Why would Julian have to pay out of his pocket? So I want the listening public to understand a few things out of that.
Okay.
We have an attorney general that heads the judiciary.
Yes.
We have the premier who heads the executive and the legislative.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
In the proceedings with the judge asked specifically, the attorney general said, and as you said, there was an outright fight between the AG. Well, it was Julian was attacking the AG. The AG really had nothing to say besides, I am not filing the injunction. It's not a thing for me. Because she wasn't going to pick a fight. I saw it as, I'm not going to pick a fight. It's not this fight isn't necessary.
Yeah, very broad insight.
Okay, well,
I like your way of thinking.
I keep trying to tell my people that it's very important to think critically. Correct. I push it in my children. I'm trying to tell people, just don't take what I said. Try to read a bit into. So she isn't picking that fight. But these guys are always happy to pick that fight. And so I saw it as, well, you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I think I think he got instructions to do it. I feel the speaker got instructions to do it. And I feel he was in there in cahoots with that because that's who he is. They can't tell us what to do. That's who he is. So I can see them. I can hear them.
Well, Cindy, I'm not privy to such information.
Neither am I, but I'm using my imagination.
I would say this. I am not privileged to that information that's a little bit higher than I am.
It's higher than all of us.
What I can see, though, and there's a clear indication for me that instructions were given and permission was granted.
And I don't have a problem with that.
No, but not from how they're saying it is granted. It has been granted. The speaker cannot go and file an injunction and go through all these processes without it being okayed by the leader of government business.
So can I tell you a scenario?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say a couple things. Sometimes people say to me, Cindy, do what you're gonna do quietly. Mm-hmm. I like to share information. You know, one of the reasons I share information, because I'm not coming from a troublemaking place.
Okay.
When I say something, I'm telling you something. Mm-hmm. I'm giving you a heads up. I may come off strong because that's who I am, but I'm giving you a heads up. Anyway, yesterday morning, bear in mind you hadn't heard anything about a paper or instructions to proceed coming forward before. We heard nothing besides in the last 24 hours. And I guess I kicked myself in the teeth because I said to them, and I said to one of the sitting members of the House of Assembly really early in the morning when I got there, I said the only way we're going to back down is if you present information to us that says that you gave the speaker permission to proceed. They took that and they ran with it. But on top of that, I also said, and when I said it, he twisted his face like, you're confusing me now, but I'm not. Because one of the things, the judge gave a 2-week break.
Correct.
To go and bring back the information to show me where you were given permission to bring this injunction. Because the AG is saying she didn't give permission. She don't know anything about it. So the judge is, well, who gave you permission? He gave him 2 weeks to come back and bring the information. Nothing came, which means there wasn't. And so then the judge says, you got to pay for this. And so I said to the member, I said, and so if you guys bring anything back, know that that would be fraudulent.
Well, Cindy, I think the documents that were promised yesterday were going to be along the lines of research of that point that you heard with the governor invoking section, whatever.
Right.
Cindy, I could say without a shadow of doubt, even though cabinets approve whatever decisions that they may approve and policy decisions that they make a decision on and vote in favor of, the body that regulates everything is the House of Assembly. That is, in fact, the highest office of the land. What the challenge continues to be is that we see the House of Assembly being ran as an extension to the Premier's office. We have a sit-in and then it's put off for 3 or 4 weeks, sometimes even months, and then you go back. So you're forced to ask questions in the House Assembly that are 3 months old, and the ministers have already addressed it. So it is playing this game with the people of the Virgin Islands under the quote-unquote rules that governs the House. Yes, we understand the science behind politics, but it can't be playing these games and making these irresponsible decisions with the people's money in the midst of all this turmoil. Then it shows that you just don't care for the people of this territory. And see, I don't want to continue to, and I know it is your show, I'm here as a guest.
No, you're here to give us information.
I am of the view that there is hope for this territory.
I tell everybody that every day.
There is hope for this territory once the people of the Virgin Islands continue to stand firm and be educated on what's going on and look for persons who have that proven track record, who have not just for the fluff and all the campaign songs and the slogan. Look for persons with integrity. Look for persons who you know have been fighting. Look for persons who are not afraid, Cindy, to represent and let their voice be heard and challenge persons, even though you might feel all alone, know that you are not alone. And those are the persons that we need to take up a new mantle, take up a new vision. And Cindy, I pledge my life to serving the people of the Virgin Islands for as long, through vision, through the ability to make a decision, through my passion, and the most important one for me is being disciplined, to never forget or never see myself as higher than the people that put me here.
Yeah, and I think that is that is the biggest thing plaguing this administration. They're totally out of touch with the people. I think I think they believe they are a monarchy because it seems like they always want you to bow down to us and respect us. And these are words that are always coming forward. They talk a lot. They talk a lot, and they think that they're talking and that distracts you. And there's always, let's talk about it and let's have a conversation about what?
I said one time, and I said it in the House Assembly. I said the behavior and some of the moves of this administration are likened unto a cult. And they were not pleased about it. But when you look at what's going on, there must be a voice. There must be someone. And if it is going to be the people, let it be the people. But there has to be someone, I believe, that has not lost the whole hopes and dreams of why they put themselves up for political office, that will be willing to stand from among the direction that this current administration is going, because it is failing.
Yeah.
It is failing the people of this territory, and it is ignoring the concerns, the voices, and the hurts.
Well, Mitch, as I told you, we will be there tomorrow.
Yes.
Because we intend to look in the face of every single elected member and see them say yes or no. I'm going to tell you, and if they're looking at this show tonight, it is a defining moment for them. I know that they take us very seriously. I know they are very flustered and frustrated. I know that because I tend to tell people, say what you want about me, but I'm in every circle. And I know what everybody's saying. Okay? They are flustered. They did not expect yesterday. I didn't expect it.
Well,
they did not expect it. But, Mitch, it is a defining moment. That vote is a defining moment. I'm appealing to them. I'm telling every elected member that vote will be a defining moment. Do not ignore the voice of the people. And the voice of the people, there are subjects that are, you can tell there's a split. The BVI is united on this subject.
Correct.
You might hear one or two about, if the governor paying, those are people who are trying to think. They see black and white and they can't see past that. The country is united on this because it breaks down. It deteriorates fully. Our institutions, the House of Assembly cannot continue to just go in there and use their people of 9 power and just the power of 9 people and change our rules, override the judiciary. That is very dangerous.
On the heels of an ongoing
COI.
COI.
Correct.
So
this is not a land of law?
On the heels that you can't, in this administration and in this present time, talk about what the last administration did and administrations before you when you're approaching your 3rd year in office. Political maturity simply says, I'm going to take responsibility for what has gone wrong, what is going wrong, and then I'm going to seek the guidance and the counsel of the people that put me here and let their will be fulfilled as I continue to lead. Cindy, why I say there's hope, I believe in hope. I know I put together and I joined a team that was relatively new, but I believe there is still need for leadership with integrity, leadership with compassion, and like-minded persons who are willing to never put themselves first, but put the people of the Virgin Islands first.
I agree with you.
And invest not just in young people, invest in the healthcare, invest in education, and build people into the capacity, because we cannot continue to keep hearing these promises and these nice political sayings and slangs and be fooled. And then when the rubber hits the road, you're back to even worse than you were. And then when I say, listen, correct that, you tell me what the last one did. No, look at those of us and I would encourage the people of the Virgin Islands. We don't know what is going to come out of the COI. My vote, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to be no against this motion and this resolution, because we have to put the priority back in place. If we're going to build institutions, I used to say this government is a hurt and help, because one time they do something to hurt you and then the next minute they are saying they're helping you. And we have to be careful not to relax our efforts, because when you look at where the COI has us, Cindy, and you look at where we are now in the view of persons throughout the world, we're not in a very good place. And you can't tell me you're willing to continue down the same road, even though you have put the spotlights on us.
Yeah, Mitch, it's one thing. I mean, it hurts me really bad. And, you know, people would say that I'm bitter about my job and so forth. That is the last thing on my mind. I was raised in real Virgin Islands pride. That was my mother. You can't tell her anything about the BVI and her leaders, and that's how they were. They raised you in BVI pride. I don't feel like I am any single day that I wake up that I'm walking in BVI pride. And that's the most devastating thing for me. When your daughter at 11 years could tell you, Mommy, I don't really want to live here. They know, they see, they feel, they understand what's going on around them.
But it doesn't have to continue.
Exactly, and that's why I continue.
That's important.
I take a lot of licks, but I'm going to continue.
Let's change it. Well, licks come. But at the end of the day, I believe once we transform this territory through its people who are not afraid to stand up, who are not afraid to challenge some of the difficulties and correct some of the missteps that have been made, acknowledging the good that has been made over the years as well. We have to not continue down the same path and expect a different result. We have a responsibility, and I am saying, Cindy, me as being the person elected by the people of the 2nd District to represent them, I will never stop. I will never stop doing and saying all that needs to be done. Look around the territory. We're bringing back cruise passengers. There's 1 or 2 districts that have received bush cutting. But my district is a tourism district.
Why do you listen? You see, people come on this show and they try to get me in trouble.
No, I don't want to get you in
trouble. And so forth. But I mean, I talked about it on my Facebook page, I'm sure, you know, but I heard like $1 million was put forward for bush cutting.
And I heard the $1 million is finished.
But I heard 500,000 of it ended up in District 1.
Well, I heard that I didn't get any in the district, and my people are calling me all day because they're being pulled
Well,
out
I
of
heard
their
the
cars.
whole island and place looks the same, so I don't know where the $1 million went.
Check in the first.
Yeah, well, that's what I heard.
We have to do better.
We have to do so much better. I'm going to take this last minute. My team, look, I made it, I think. I may go in 30 seconds over time. But I want to thank you for coming on, Honorable Melvin Mitch Turnbull.
It was a pleasure.
But I'm going to give you a moment to give some closing words if you'd like to do that, and then I'll close out.
Okay. Well, Cindy, I want to thank you for having me on this show, Cut Deep. It was really intriguing having been here now, because I've been here, and I don't think I bled out too much.
It wasn't so scary,
It wasn't so bad, but I thank you for this platform. And the work that you continue to do to highlight the issues in the territory. To the people of the Virgin Islands, I am simply your humble servant. I'm simply trying to do my best to serve in excellence, to serve the people of this territory, to hold myself to account as well as the government of the Virgin Islands. So when there are issues that need to be spoken up about, I will be that voice. Some persons say I have been a little bit quiet. I've been a little bit more laid back because I've learned a little bit more. But now I am never afraid to challenge. I am never afraid to speak up, and I will continue to do that, to represent you to the best of my ability, because we need a new direction, and we need it now in this territory.
Thank you, Honorable. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to give you this bit of information right now. The House of Assembly resumes tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'm inviting everyone under the sound of my voice to come out tomorrow at 2 p.m. to the House of Assembly from 2 p.m. on. I'm not sure what time the motion with the Honorable, with Julian Willock, at what time that will be on. So I'm encouraging you to come out from 2 p.m. and we're going to stay there until the motion is called. We want to look at every single member of the House, look in their eyes and see the vote that they intend to cast in this motion. It is going to be a defining moment for each of their political and leadership careers. House of Assembly tomorrow, we continue gathering in numbers. Come out from 2 p.m. And we're going to be there until the vote on this motion is cast. Since we're at the House of Assembly, I just want to give some quick guidelines. Men are not allowed to wear jeans, so proper pants, close-up shoes, a proper shirt. You don't necessarily have a tie. Ladies, no sleeveless.
No sandals.
No sandals, no sleeveless, no sandals, no short pants for anybody, male or female, okay? So come in your attire, come down to the House of Assembly from 2 p.m. We're going to be gathering there, and we're going to wait until that motion is called. Thank you guys for tuning in this evening. Again, thank you, Honorable, for being here and for sharing information with us. And I almost missed it. On Thursday night, we will be on ZBVI from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So tune in. See you on Thursday.